Okay, so I want to look at setting up more file processing. This time we're going to process a file by the lines in the file. So we're going to be looking at that mathclasses.txt. And I'm going to process the data first just to determine the total number of courses. And then I want to print a list of each course number along with its corresponding professor or instructor. And this is a list of data probably from, I don't know, a couple years ago. Okay, so math classes text is here. It's this giant, messy looking file. You can kind of see it if you open it within Eclipse. The course number is the third token there. And then the instructor, where is that? That's a little farther over. This is something we would have to figure out in the data or be told this. So let's see if we can find it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, that's going to be tricky. That's the name. So that's a little tricky because the names change in length for the courses. Number of credits, the day, the times, the room, and then after the room, there's the room. After the room comes the instructors. This might be a little harder than I had anticipated, but let's first look at just answering the first question, do one thing at a time, determining how many total classes there are. So we can see in our list there's 48. All right, what are we gonna do? We're gonna open a new class. We'll call this process classes. It's in chapter 6. Headers. So this class will process data in mathclasses.txt, first determining the total number of classes. Then printing a list. Class number, instructor. If we can. That might be harder than I'm ready to do right now. So we'll see what happens. Oftentimes, you know, these data files are larger data files. Any data file usually is messy. We've dealt with some easy ones because I'm setting them up and I'm giving them to us. But generally, you'll see they're messy. Maybe even we'll look at Harry Potter and show you some tricks there. Okay, so I think I'll do this all in main. So we'll need our import statements, both for the scanner and for the input output. So java.import java.io, everything, and import java.utilities. We're going to throw an exception. Main throws file not found. Exception. And let's just open the file and let's open the file first. So we're going to go file, input file, equals new file, and we'll give it its name. And I can do this because it's in that same folder as my source code folder, mathclasses.txt. Again, in the PowerPoint, she goes over how to how to put in that text field the address of where the file is located on the computer if it's located somewhere else. But, you know, for our purposes, we just put it where we want it, and then we don't have to worry about it. And now, let's see. I'm going to try to create another method where we pass this file in and let the method process the data. So let's have a method called process data. And for now, I won't have it return anything. Come down below, public, static, you know, void process data. And I thought, well, why not, since we know what we're doing, we're first counting how many classes it is. Let's go ahead and have this return how many classes it's going to be. So we'll set up an integer here, m number equals 0. We don't have to, well, we don't have to initialize it to 0. Oh yeah, let's go ahead and set equals 0. And then, no, we don't need to do that, sorry. I wanted an integer number here, integer number to equal this. And then we'll change this to return integer. And here I'll set up a return statement, return 0. Okay, you might want to pause and just make sure your logic flow is correct. I just wanted to do this because I want to put the scanner in process data, and I want to show us that process data then also needs the file not found exception. So I wouldn't need to do this, but I just kind of want to show that logic. So in here, we'll go scanner input equals new scanner. That's going to be a problem because I need to tell it the file name here. And notice I did not pass the file name in here as a parameter. So this method doesn't know what input file is. So we got to go back here and pass this as a parameter. You know, yes, I'm creating a little more work here, but I'm just doing it so you can see the logic. Okay, so now I'm getting this error. You can see it's kind of everywhere. I'm sending what should be input file, and that should be okay here. And I'm catching it here as a parameter, and I'm guessing multiple markers on this line. Oh, I'm in the wrong place here, sorry. Oops. I want that to be in the method header, excuse me. And then in here, we're setting up our new scanner to read from the input file. And again, we have some errors, and I'm guessing this is because I didn't throw an exception. Yep, file not found exception. So we need to go in here and throw this again. This is the whole reason I set this up, was so that you could see that we need this in both main and over here in this method process data. Okay. So what's the logic? So we're gonna go through this data. So we want to look at where is a class. So the classes, each class is on its own line. So we have a method to look to see if I have more lines with the scanner. So I can sort of say something like, while there's another line, while more lines, all I want to do at first is just increase the count. And then I want to get the next line. I want to advance the line. Advance line. And maybe I should advance line. It doesn't matter, but I think I might want to advance the line first. That'll be the first line, and then increase the count to 1. Advance the line to the second line, increase the count to 2. Okay, so that's really that first function, and we'd be done. Let's go back and try it. So we're going to say while input dot has next line. I don't know that I've used the next line function or look ahead yet. While input dot has next line, so we need a count. pointer to keep track. And let's initially set it equal to 0. And now instead of returning 0, we want to return that count. And while input has next line, we're going to take input dot next line out of here. And then we're going to increase the count. Then we return the count. Then we can come up here and we can say system.out. Let's do a printf. And we're going to format the string. There are %d classes. Period. And that %d is going to be this integer number here. Now I'm guessing I might be off by 1. So there are 48 classes. And the reason I think I might be off by 1 is it looks like the data file has 1 extra line at the end. Nope, 48 classes. Line 48. If we had opened this data file just in a text document as opposed to in Eclipse, math classes, I don't think we can tell how many there are. Let's see if there's a way on the notepad to see. So let's see, yeah, line 49. So you can down here on the text file as well, line 48. So there are 48 lines. Okay. We can always open it in Eclipse. Sometimes it displays a little better. We could also go into this method if we wanted, and instead of just pulling that line out, I could print this line, system.out print line input.next line. And then this is going to print. And so what this is nice for is if somehow the data is not what you expect it to be, meaning maybe it's all one line or something, that might show up if you printed it out line by line. Here you can't really tell what's going on. So not a lot of benefit there, but can be a useful tool. And so I'm going to go back and I'm going to delete that thing I just did. Just trying to get my zoom up here. There I am. I lost. I don't know why it's behind. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I want to get rid of that line. It also just occurred to me that whenever we do a printf statement, we could use a \n at the end of it, or if I want, I can just put an empty print line statement after it. Either of those are fine. My preference would probably be to put a \n in the printf, but I wanted to show this print line with nothing in it because some people are thinking you need to kind of do this for an empty print line, empty quotes, but you don't need that. You just print line, and that's going to print a single line. Okay, so the next task is to print the course number. So we could just print the number, like 081 would be the course, and then the instructor name, which is a little tricky because of some of these names are more than one token. And it's tricky. How are we going to do that? So we're gonna think about the thing that comes before the name, and that is the room. And it's looking like all of the rooms have 7 characters in them, whereas the tokens before that have 2. I'm wondering if that'll help us. Uh-oh, there's an online class, so that's a problem. It might be harder than I think. So I'm gonna do that in another video, and then if it doesn't, we'll try it. We'll start thinking about the logic in the other video, and we'll see where it takes us.